Frank Buckley, as Governor Newsom was pushing ahead with plans to redraw congressional districts in our state, Border Patrol agents showed up outside of the news conference. We'll show you what happened.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Carlos Herrera. An ICE raid turns deadly in Monrovia after a man fleeing from federal agents gets struck and killed by a vehicle on a nearby freeway. How the community and local lawmakers are reacting. It's coming up next.
Good morning. I'm Trevor Shirley, live in Washington. President Donald Trump is heading to Alaska for his one-on-one summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. I've got that story coming up ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Tellison for Jessica Holmes. Orange County looking for some volunteers to help keep the region safe from wildfires. We'll explain how you can help.
Okay, we got to give you a report of an earthquake we just hit approximately 15 minutes ago. It is just 6 miles south of Idlewild, magnitude 3.6, and it hit at 9:43. Now, when you're looking at these maps, the red isn't the intensity. The red means earthquakes that happened in the past hour, which it was just 15 minutes ago. The yellow earthquakes mean anything in the last 12 hours, and if you have anything in the green in the last 24 hours, we got a couple of yellows, but the size of the circle indicates the magnitude, not the color of the circle. Once again, 3.6 earthquake, 6 miles south of Idlewild. It happened at 9:43, so if you felt some shaking, you were absolutely right. Frank, back to you.
And now someone has died as a result of an immigration raid. A local man and day laborer was killed after being struck by a vehicle while fleeing an immigration raid in Monrovia. KTLA's Carlos Herrera, live in Hollywood with the details. Carlos, good morning.
Frank, good morning. It really is heartbreaking, and we're learning from immigrant advocates that they will be holding a vigil in honor of that victim, who's now being described as a loving husband and a father, a hardworking day laborer who was killed as he was trying to get away from federal officers or federal agents who were swarming Home Depot in Monrovia. Take a look at this. This is cell phone video that was recorded just moments after Thursday morning's tragedy. It shows the man in a black t-shirt lying near the inside lane of the freeway. Witnesses tell police that the victim ran across the Home Depot's parking lot and onto the 210 East, where he was struck by an SUV. He was taken to a hospital where he later died. Karen Suarez was one of many witnesses. She says she consoled the victim's daughter at the scene.
Went up to her and I said, I'm really sorry about your dad. And she was so shaken up. I just feel for him and his family.
This morning, the Department of Homeland Security says the man was not being pursued by DHS law enforcement, but immigrant advocates, they argue otherwise. They say 13 people were taken into custody during Thursday's raid, including one man who they say was hit by a federal agent's vehicle. Just hours after that accident, a crowd of about 75 demonstrators gathered outside the Home Depot were protesting ICE. Images from Sky 5 showing them waving Mexican flags and other signs calling for an end to the immigration raids. This morning we spoke with Juan Gonzalez. He's a U.S. citizen. He was at the Home Depot when the sweep occurred. He and many immigrant advocates want a criminal investigation of ICE. They're blaming the agency for the man's death.
That hurts me. It's like they treating us like an animals. What's gonna happen this time? What's gonna happen? It's not fair. That's all I wanna say. It's not fair.
Lawmakers are also reacting. Senator Sasha Renee Perez has demanded to stop immigration raids, federal administration rather, to stop immigration raids, calling them illegal, saying, quote, "These raids have been ruled to be illegal racial profiling by a federal judge, and the Trump administration has been ordered to comply with a temporary restraining order. How many more brown-skinned people have to die before the president will obey the law?" End of quote there. CHP saying it is now investigating the accident, but the name and the age of the victim has not been released. His legal status has also not been announced this morning. Again, we're learning about that vigil being held at the Home Depot at 5:30 p.m. Frank and Megan.
Carlos, thank you for that reporting on Morning Long. Now to this, Governor Gavin Newsom announcing a plan yesterday that would allow California lawmakers to redraw the state's congressional map. And as that news conference was happening, dozens of Border Patrol agents suddenly showed up right outside. KTLA's Eric Spillman live for us in our newsroom with more details. Eric, good morning.
Morning, Megan. This morning, Border Patrol officials are defending their actions yesterday. Dozens of agents showed up outside the Japanese-American National Museum in Little Tokyo, just as the governor was inside holding a news conference. The federal officers were dressed in camouflage, wearing helmets and masks. Some were carrying weapons. Was it a coincidence that they just happened to swarm the area at the exact same time yesterday that Governor Newsom was inside kicking off his campaign to redraw congressional maps in California? Was the Border Patrol operation meant to intimidate or make some kind of a statement to Newsom and the Democratic leaders who were there? Well, the sector chief of the Border Patrol, Gregory Bovino, who was there yesterday, was asked that question on Fox News this morning. He didn't exactly answer.
Sir, did you purposely target the governor's rally in order to have a show of force there?
Well, good morning, Dana, and thank you for having me. We absolutely targeted all of Los Angeles yesterday. We had 40 law enforcement teams spread across Los Angeles going after those bad people and bad things.
Yesterday, Bovino called the operation a roving immigration enforcement patrol. It resulted in the arrest of just one person, a man who was delivering strawberries nearby. But Bovino, in his interview this morning, says there was a criminal suspect who was found not far away.
Just a couple of blocks away from where we were, a Tren de Aragua gang member, a suspected Tren de Aragua gang member, was apprehended.
For their part, Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass called the Border Patrol activity a deliberate provocation that was planned by the Trump administration. They say it was meant to intimidate free speech and to show the power of federal authorities. They both pointed out that the Border Patrol operation took place at the site where, during World War II, Japanese Americans were rounded up and bused to incarceration camps.
You think of all the places to be in this country, they chose to be here at this exact time. That's how weak and pathetic the Trump administration is, how desperate they are.
There is no way this was a coincidence. This was widely publicized that the governor and many of our other elected officials were having a press conference here to talk about redistricting, and they decided they were going to come and thumb their nose in front of the governor's face. Why would you do that? That is unbelievably disrespectful. It's a provocative act. They're talking about disorder in Los Angeles, and they are the source of the disorder in Los Angeles right now.
One other bit of news this morning, looks like Republican former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger will get involved in opposing Governor Newsom's redistricting campaign. Schwarzenegger just put out this on social media. On his T-shirt, it says, "Bleep the politicians, terminate gerrymandering." It says he's getting ready for the gerrymandering battle. Schwarzenegger, 15 years ago, backed a ballot measure putting redrawing congressional maps into the hands of an independent commission. What Newsom is asking voters to approve is a plan to bypass that independent commission temporarily and approve new congressional maps for the upcoming midterm elections. Frank and Megan, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Eric, thank you for that. Now, firefighters continue to make progress against the King Fire burning in northern LA County. The brush fire broke out early yesterday morning in Gorman near the 5 freeway at Smoky Bear Road. So far, 577 acres have burned and at least 2 RVs parked at Pyramid Lake were destroyed. The fire is 40% contained. Evacuation warnings remain in place for people living in Gorman's Hungry Valley and Paradise Ranch neighborhoods.
Group of Orange County volunteers is seeking new recruits to help keep their community safe this fire season. More than 300 people currently help out as part of Orange County Fire Watch. During red flag warnings, the group sends volunteers out with binoculars to watch areas where wildfires are most likely to break out, including rural roadways and trailheads. The LA Times reports most fires in Orange County are caused by machinery and equipment or kids playing with fire. So volunteers are trained to talk to people about unsafe behavior and report any ignitions to the Orange County Fire Authority. You can learn more about becoming a volunteer at letsgooutside.org/volunteer. All right. We've got some breaking weather news, man, coming in.
Yeah. Just getting updates on that earthquake.
Yes, you were getting updates.
Absolutely. Got to get updates. And we talked about it just a second ago. 3.6 magnitude earthquake, just about 6 miles south of Idlewild. And it happened at 9:43 this morning.
I love your breathless reporting.
He's buttoning up.
Yeah,
you know, right?
yeah. Breaking news.
Breaking.
Yeah.
I think, are we going to take Lucy Jones? Is that what you were saying, Shane? Oh.